I would consider that part of your job. That's just my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. And the other thing is, you know, you're making, I've just checked all the rest of the head people in the courthouse, you're way ahead of everybody else, and I struggle with that. You know, you're just for information, the rest of the salaries in the courthouse are $53,756 for the heads. So.
Typically, assessors do get paid more than auditors. And the jobs don't compare. You know, my numbers don't just add up. We have to go out in the field, gather our data, then we have to come back and analyze it, and it's a big deal to have equity when you're levying for the school, when you're levying for the city and the county, you're taxing people. It's a big deal to have equity. Okay, so the function of the assessor's office is like none other.
You could say that about the treasurer's office, you could say that about the auditor's office.
But they got a right and a wrong. Things add up or they don't add up.
The treasurer's office sees more foot traffic than anybody in.
But they got a right or a wrong.
They still got a computer program that everybody switched over to that helps with all of that too.
Computers don't make those judgment calls yet. It takes a lot of studies to make judgment calls.
As an assessor, I mean, you're not making judgment calls, you're using comparative market analysis to come up with these
manual
numbers.
levels, we're setting a lot of different.
A lot of that stuff's dictated by the state.
It's not dictated by the state.
It's in the code.
If my values don't fall in line, they're gonna equalize them.
Exactly.
But
it's all dictated by the state.
It's not a good thing for the state to come in and say, okay, your values are out of whack, we're gonna raise everything across the board.
That's not the point of this discussion. You came in and you pitched the $5,000 extra for all the extra time you were putting in switching this thing over. It's all been switched over. We had the aerial flights done. It's time for that to come back out.
Well, and now that we've spent a fortune getting the
still
GIS, we need to maintain it. And maintenance of the GIS is a separate function. So if I don't do it, we should keep it in-house.
The only point I'd make to your comment about computer programs and this and that, is every time we update, we end up with faulty solutions. We have continued maintenance, it's not just it's there and it's done and it makes life easier. So, I mean, there are many counties that have, well, I know they act as our IT department, and many counties have IT departments. Once you bring in a new service, often the corresponding job requirement goes with it.
I'd be more comfortable with hiring Schneider as somebody that has an expertise in that area in the event that we don't have to make some sort of digital mistake and have to pay even more to have it fixed. And you're saying that you're not a computer person, Mike's not a computer person.
I'm a computer person, Mike is not. You asked if somebody else could do that function.
Are you an IT specialist? Because what you're saying is we need an IT
No,
specialist
I'm
in
not
order to
saying
do
we
this.
need an IT. The computers are IT, the GIS is a separate function.
I think it's just a normal part of every assessor's job.
I'm gonna have some unhappy taxpayers if they can't come in and say, I need a thorough map.
That's just like anything else. I can go to that FSA and ask for something now. It doesn't mean I'm gonna get it that day.
Well,
I mean, you gotta be realistic.
We service our
with stuff.
people.
And if you're not there and you need something, I don't get my information that day. Because Mike can't access the computer. So I mean, it's kind of a moot point what you're talking about there, because it's not always available.
Well, you kind of said last meeting, Sharon, that you wouldn't take any less, so for me, that's kind of holding us hostage, isn't it?
Well, I'm sorry if you took it that way, but Jerry, my salary with the GIS, 5,000, is comparable to other assessors. So if I don't get the 5 for the GIS, then I would like a comparable salary to the 11 counties in my district. Time and experience is worth a lot. I think you're fighting another fight here.
That's not how you pitched it. That is not how you pitched using that money. It was never pitched as a long-term thing to do with that GIS. When you came in here and asked for that request, it was to cover all the extra time associated with switching that over.
So the GIS is not done. It's never going to be done.
The initial lump of data that all got switched over was what you said you needed that extra money. Well, that's That's done. It was never pitched as a long-term maintenance thing, it was never pitched as you needing to have that to be able to do it.
Well, it's turned into a long-term maintenance thing. We built layers and layers like.
I don't agree with that. I thought when it was pitched, it was a new position, it was GIS coordinator that would be ongoing. That was my understanding.
That's not how I understood it
either.
Any other comments?
Well, if a person doesn't pay Sharon $5,000, you have to pay Schneider $5,000 or $5,500, right?
Minimum. And then we have to deal with the mail and back and forth, and
I can't see where you can't do it. I think it's part of your job, that's my opinion. Maybe nobody else thinks that, but.
And this thing to get added to all these offices by the state, it doesn't increase in increase wages for all the different code changes for every office in there. So I don't know how it reflects that you should get more because there was a change in the job. I mean, there's a lot of things that everyone in here has to do. Oh, yes, we should teach Mike how to do it. Because if you're not there, if you're on vacation, that means nobody gets any information for the week. And somebody else needs to know how to do it. If we're gonna pay someone in there, then that money should be split amongst everybody in there that's maintaining that thing.
those splits and transfers can wait till I get back.
But you just got done saying that we just had to have it right this minute, if somebody's got it, you're gonna get it right now.
A map, yeah, they're expecting it now,
But you
because
just
that's what they're
understand
used to. But I'm talking about the split, I'm talking about the work that's behind the scenes. A deed gets recorded, it makes the rounds. We don't have people at the counter, waiting for that information. I'm able to maintain that.
Either way, they're not gonna get the information if you're not there. So somebody else said, if you're saying that we need to have this so everybody has access to it, anytime they wanna stop in and get it, like you just pitched,
Well,
then Mike
Mike
needs
is
to know how to
able
do
to call
it.
Schneider, and it's not the end of the world. It happens, but not very often. They can get a lot of this, what the crop, non-crop part of things, and what the realtors like is, if you go on the website, you can see the CSRs for a 40-acre tract. We have everything in 40. But I can merge those parcels for them and get them one CSR for a whole farm, and that's how they sell it. They don't sell it for 340, they sell, 120 acres. So I can do that for them, and that's just one function that, that we just take care of. GIS coordinator takes care of.
Any other comments? We'll close the public hearing. Is there any subtractions or motions to subtract anything from the assessors fiscal year 2021 budget?
I make a motion that we adopt the assessor's 2021 assessment and expense fund budget with 5,000 in it.
Do I got a second?
Second.
Mayors, how do you vote?
Aye.
School board members, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisors, how do you vote?
Aye.
Nay.
Can I get,
Motion carries.
that was me. Oh, that was the motion.
Other business?
I have nothing.
I take a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Take a second. Mayors, how do you vote?
Aye.
School board members, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisors, how do you vote? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Don't work too hard. Sober, I guess. Yeah.
Gentlemen of the board, I had a meeting with the city of Tiffin last night. I just wanted to give you a handout that I gave you down. Pass that around. How are you doing? Good. Good. How are you doing? Good. Pretty good. Plugging away. you make that call?
What did I talk to you about last week?
Yes. When was it?
Situations and.
Yeah, just talking to, who was it, the person down there? Okay. All right, well, I'm just trying to remember now what happened, because there's a lot going on.
Doesn't make a difference. It's fine.
It was regarding the hauling there?
Yeah.
Yes, no, I talked to them, definitely, and then Mike actually talked to her as well.
Okay. Yep, thank you.
Right away.
Appreciate you here.
Yep. Howdy.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
That's interesting, too.
Well, I feel like I would sit here.
I was there.
Yeah.
I went about 6.
Where'd you sit?
Well, you weren't there, I didn't see you. I left all the, I sat by myself, actually.
We were there.
It might have been a little after 6. I think I left home at 6.
Oh, then it was just yesterday, because we didn't leave until like 4 to 7.
Well, maybe you were there. Because I sat there till 7, because I voted for the city council meeting.
I thought I saw you walking down there, facing down anywhere, so.
What was it?
North end.
Right, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Vandross. Here. Mr. DeLore. Here. Mr. Elmers.
Yep.
I'm here. Any additions or subtractions to today's agenda?
I don't have any. Nothing.
Well, there were some questions with the group benefit partners. I guess I was just hoping that it was part of the minutes that we're entering into that discussion, so I'm not trying to prolong today's meeting. If we just have one or two of us sit and call, if we just left the meeting open and participate, I thought it'd be better just to have it at least reflected in the minutes that that's been considered, so that's why I asked for that. So I'd make a motion on the agenda as it's presented, if that's okay.
Rich, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Discuss, so we got minutes. Any additions or subtractions to the February 4th minutes? I didn't see any.
Make a motion to accept those minutes.
Support it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Just hop right down into department heads. We'll start with Norman.
Well, I'd say that we had a very busy motion day yesterday. Certainly still staying busy in both criminal court and juvenile court regarding volume. I would say hopefully this winter we won't need to ask for further budget appropriations regarding juvenile delinquents. We aren't nearly as busy on that front as last year. Last week we had a scuffle at juvenile court, so I'd like to thank the sheriff's office. I don't know if he does that here, but I'd like to thank the sheriff's office for responding as promptly as they could. That little brouhaha. We won't be having magistrate court today. I believe the magistrate's down in Des Moines for training. So we'll need to catch up and do some other stuff because we've got some longer length grading projects we're currently working on as well. And this Thursday I'll be going over to the sheriff's office. We'll be doing a law update, kind of just what's new, what's changed, as well as maybe reiterate some topics on training that could be helpful for the deputies. So that's kind of what I'm up to right now.
A little more around the room.
That's me, okay. Well, February, starting off, we're definitely got some tax collections in yesterday. So the taxes are due March 1st, but need to be paid by March 31st with no penalty, so those are coming in the mail. Staying busy with renewals and now taxes.
It's been a busy start of the year, got just inquiries coming in for all sorts of, needs. We do have a project we got through CVN, which is what your dues for Northwest Iowa Development helped pay for, and so I submitted a couple buildings last week for a food ingredient production, company that's looking for a second facility, so working through that, and, looking out for any kind of lead like that. Growing Edge is at one of the buildings I submitted. He is trying to sell that facility. He has had some company interest, but he doesn't have anything in writing yet, Brian Alsop. So, that as well as Cap Farm, so I'm just doing what I can to work any lead. Community Foundation we had a great night in Harris a couple weeks ago. Now sort of the next step, other than the normal facilitating of bills coming in, is really trying to help promote charitable giving. Anyone who attended that night heard me give just a brief update that we had a previous Ashton resident leave some funds. So she opened up what we call a sub-fund. We called it Appreciate Ashton Fund. So she left some money to be specifically used for activities in Ashton, and we want to keep promoting that so people understand that the Community Foundation of Osceola County is a conduit for legacy giving. So we're having a board meeting next week to talk about doing an ad, sort of really building awareness for people that can just consider that as a task when they're looking at estate planning. Hawkeye Point, we had a meeting last week. It's been a couple months, but we have a lot going on there. A grain bin shelter we're going to be looking to get up, which should be a great asset. We've got a first marketing brochure. We've never done one. We looked at our first proof of that last week, so looking to get that out hopefully by spring. Career Day is set for April 30th in Sibley Cheatham. I am trying to work through some different outreach with all the school districts that we have students in. And I have a date for our business outreach seminar called Renewal Rural Iowa. It will be May 27th. NCC and our local Farm Bureau grants are all helping cover costs. So as soon as I have a marketing flyer for that, I'll pass that out. And I will be back or hang out to talk about the Karen website project. Looking forward to that.
Went to a honor flight fundraiser in Ashton last night, put on by the Legion, and it was most people have ever seen in that building. It was very strong. Good deal. January was a good month, except quite a few of our Osceola County veterans are in Arizona, so I'll be making a business trip down there next week. But
Sorry.
check on them. Only right.
Supervisors get to with it.
It's up to you guys. You're budgeted for that, I don't care.
Then that's our vacation if he's in Arizona.
We said worse things.
That's about it, guys. I will be gone, but Richard will be sitting in my office. That allocation fund pays for his wages, so.
Winter, has been long and drawn out. Budget-wise, we are approaching the limits of our budget for, plowing snow and all that sort of stuff, blades and salt, all of it. But it was nice to get a little bereavement there for a couple of weeks where we didn't have much happening, so we were able to get caught up on repairing all of our equipment, fixing up bridges and signs at bridges. We've been building now a drag for the spring and also a disc retriever for next spring, so we can start, hitting that heavy in the spring. Also, doing maintenance repair on our building and Sibley a little bit. We had some problems there with some, siding rotting away. We might even start dragging some of the gravel roads. We see a warm-up coming up ahead, and it might become problematic, so we're kind of getting ready for that. Might go out there and try it, see what happens in a couple of weeks. We're in the depths, or in the heart of design for this bridge right outside of town. So right now we're submitting preliminary plans. We submitted all of our environmental, we received all our environmental clearance for that project, so we're pretty much have a green light. So that's going to probably progress very quickly now, our design for that bridge project. We have a lot of bridge repair next spring that I'm planning. And I met with the city of Sibley last night. I went to their meeting to coordinate our large paving project that's happening in about 4 years. reason why is we're gonna go and apply for funding, at Northwest Iowa Planning, and meet with all the other counties. And, the goal that we have here is we're having this big project that we already have programmed here in this part of the county, and to cooperate with them, combine with them, and present that as our case to those people there, because I think it'll sell well, and hopefully we'll get some good funding because of that. And so I met with them and went over that, and we coordinated on that effort, and that's a handout I gave you. I just wanted to show you what I presented to them. Yeah. Any questions?
Oh, daughters.
Tyler.
You could have skipped. Working on budgets, working on family farm, egg land, trying to get geared up for the election coming up in June. March is finally period deadline, so. Keeping busy with all that stuff.
I have a grandbaby.
And have grandbabies, had a new grandbaby over the weekend, so.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud. Yeah, pretty sweet.
Who brought snacks today?
Deb did.
Well, you gotta help yourself to snack time.
Yes, I will. Now that you told me that, I really should.
Right? Enjoy your travels.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be.
Hard life.
Where you going in Arizona?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit confused there, but no, I called him right away. Good. Right after the meeting, and then speaking. Mike said, thank you. See you later, problem. Yeah.
Let's talk about the website.
Awesome, one of my favorite things. So I gave Rochelle a handout that showed currently what you guys are paying, currently what we're paying, and a bunch of costs to get a new site, put together. So what I had said to Rochelle a month or so ago was, what if we just added the county departments and county information to the existing economic development website, because a lot of the content that the county site has, we have.
I guess, I got two things, Sharon. One is I would consider that part of your job. That's just my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. And the other thing is, you're making, I've just checked all the rest of the head people in the courthouse. You're way ahead of everybody else, and I struggle with that. You're just for information, the rest of the salaries in the courthouse are $53,756 for the heads. So,
Typically, assessors do get paid more than auditors. And the jobs don't compare. My numbers don't just add up. We have to go out in the field, gather our data, then we have to come back and analyze it. And it's a big deal to have equity when you're levying for the school, when you're levying for the city and the county, you're taxing people. It's a big deal to have equity. Okay, so the function of the assessor's office is like none other.
You could say that about the treasurer's office, you could say that about the auditor's
But they
office.
got a right and a wrong. Things add up or
The
they don't add up.
treasurer's office sees more foot traffic than anybody else.
But they got a right or a wrong.
They still got a computer program that everybody switched over to that helps
Computers
with all of that too.
don't make those judgment calls yet. It takes a lot of studies to make judgment calls.
As an assessor, you're not making judgment calls, you're using
We
comparative
are.
market analysis
We're
to come up
setting
with these
manual
numbers.
levels, we're setting a lot of different.
A lot of that stuff's
obsolete-
dictated by the state.
It's not dictated by the state.
It's in the
If
code.
If my values don't fall in line, they're gonna equalize them.
Exactly.
But
It's all
it's not-
dictated by the state.
It's not a good thing for the state to come in and say, okay, your values are out of whack, we're gonna raise everything across the board.
That's not the point of this discussion. You came in and you pitched the $5,000 extra for all the extra time you were putting in switching this thing over. It's all been switched over. We had the aerial flights done. It's time for that to come back out.
Well, and now that we've spent a fortune getting
And we're
the
still paying for
GIS,
flights.
we need to maintain it. And maintenance of the GIS is a separate function. So if I don't do it, we should keep it in-house.
The only point I'd make to your comment about computer programs and this and that, is every time we update, we end up with calls to solutions. We have continued maintenance, it's not just it's there and it's done and it makes life easier. So, there are many counties that have, well, I know, they act as our IT department, and many counties have IT departments. Once you bring in a new service, often the corresponding job requirement goes with it.
I'd be more comfortable with hiring Schneider as somebody that has an expertise in that area, in the event that we don't have to make some sort of digital mistake and have to pay even more to have it fixed. And you're saying that you're not a computer person, Mike's not a computer person.
I'm a computer person, Mike is not. You asked if somebody else could do that function.
Are you an IT specialist? Because what you're saying is we need an IT
No,
specialist
I'm
in
not
order to
saying
do
we
that.
need an IT. The computers are IT, the GIS is a separate function.
I think it's just a normal part of every assessor's job,
I'm gonna have some unhappy
but
taxpayers if they can't come in and say, I need a thorough map.
that's just like anything else. I can go to that, if I say and ask for something now, it doesn't mean I'm gonna get it that day.
Well,
I mean,
come on, Ed.
you gotta be
We
realistic
service
with
our
stuff.
people.
And if you're not there and you need something, I don't get my information that day, because Mike can't access the computer. So I mean, it's kind of a moot point, what you're talking about there, because it's not always available.
Well, you kind of said last meeting, Sharon, that you wouldn't take any less, so to me, that's kind of holding us hostage, isn't it?
Well, I'm sorry if you took it that way, but Jerry, my salary with the GIS, 5,000, is comparable to other assessors. So if I don't get the 5 for the GIS, then I would like a comparable salary to the 11 counties in my district. Time and experience is worth a lot. I think you're fighting another fight here.
That's not how you pitched it. That is not how you pitched using that money. It was never pitched as a long-term thing to do with that GIS. When you came in here and asked for that request, it was to cover all the extra time associated with switching that over.
So the GIS is not done. It's never gonna be done.
The initial lump of data for that all got switched over was what you said you needed that extra money. Well, that's done. It was never pitched as a long-term maintenance thing, it was never pitched as you needing to have that to be able to do it.
Well, it's turned into a long-term maintenance thing. We built layers and layers last
I don't
year.
agree with that. I thought when it was pitched, it was a new position, it was GIS coordinator that would be ongoing. That was my
So
understanding.
that's not how I understood it either. Any other comments?
Well, if a person doesn't pay Sharon the 5,000, you have to pay
Snyder,
Schneider 5,000 or 5,500, right?
minimum. And then we have to deal with the mail and back and forth, and
I can't see where you can't do it. I think it's part of your job, that's my opinion. Maybe nobody else thinks that, but.
And this thing to get added to all these offices by the state, it doesn't increase in individual, increase wages for all the different code changes for every office in there. So I don't know how it reflects that you should get more because there was a change in the job. I mean, there's a lot of things that everyone in here has to do. Yeah, well, yes, we should teach Mike how to do it. Because if you're not there, if you're on vacation, that means nobody gets any information for the week. And somebody else needs to know how to do it. If we're gonna pay someone in there, then that money should be split amongst everybody in there that's maintaining that thing.
those splits and transfers can wait till I get back.
But you just got done saying that we just had to have it right this minute, if somebody's got it, you're gonna get it right now.
If somebody wants a map, yeah, they're expecting it now,
But you
because
just got
that's
done
what
saying
they're
that-
used to. But I'm talking about the split, I'm talking about the work that's behind the scenes. A deed gets recorded, it makes the rounds. We don't have people at the counter, waiting for that information. I'm able to maintain that.
Either way, they're not gonna get the information if you're not there. So somebody else says, if you're saying that we need to have this so everybody has access to it, anytime they wanna stop in and get it, like you just pitched,
Well, Mike
well, then
has
Mike
been
needs to
able
know
to
how to
call
do it.
Schneider, and it's not the end of the world. It happens, but not very often. They can get a lot of this, what the crop, non-crop part of things, and what the realtors like is, if you go on the website, you can see the CSRs for a 40-acre tract, we have everything in 40. But I can merge those parcels for them, and get them one CSR for a whole farm, and that's how they sell it. They don't sell it for 340, they sell, 120 acres. So I can do that for them, and that's just one function that, that we take care of. GIS coordinator takes care of.
Any other comments? We'll close the public hearing. Is there any subtractions or motions to subtract anything from the assessors fiscal year 2021 budget?
I make a motion that we adopt the assessor's 2021 assessment expense fund budget with 5,000 in it.
Do I got a second?
Second.
Mayors, how do you vote?
Aye.
School board members, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisors, how do you vote?
Aye.
Nay.
Can I get,
Motion carries.
that was me. Oh, that was the motion.
Other business?
I have nothing.
I take a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Take a second. Mayors, how do you vote?
Aye.
School board members, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisors, how do you vote? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Don't work too hard.
So over, I guess, yeah.
Gentlemen of the board, I had a meeting with the city of Tiffin last night, I just wanted to give you a handout when I gave it to them. Pass that around.
How are you doing?
Good.
How are you doing?
Good. Pretty good. Plugging away.
Did you make that call?
Regarding?
That I talked to you about last week?
Yeah, when was it again?
About the situations and.
Yeah, just talking to, who was it, the person down there? I called him right away. Okay.
All right, well, that's
I'm just trying to remember now what happened, there's a lot going on.
Doesn't make a difference. It's fine.
It was regarding the hauling there?
Yeah.
Yes, no, I talked to them, definitely, and then Mike actually talked to her as well,
Okay. Yep, thank you.
right away.
Appreciate you here.
Yep. Howdy.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
That's interesting to hear.
Well, I feel like I would sit here.
I was there.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about trips.
Where's that?
Well, you weren't there, I didn't see you. I left all over. I sat by myself, actually.
We were there.
It might have been a little after six. I think I left home at 6.
Oh, they must have missed it, 'cause we didn't leave till like 4 to 7.
Well, maybe you were there. Because I sat there till 7, because I waited for the city council meeting.
I thought I saw you walking up there, I was sitting down anywhere.
Where were you sitting?
North end.
Rise to the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mandel. Here. Mr. DeBoer. Here. Mr. Elmers.
Yep.
Here. Any additions or subtractions to today's agenda?
I don't have any,
Nothing.
nothing.
Well, there was some questions with the group benefit partners. I guess I was just hoping that it was part of the minutes that we're entering into that discussion, so I'm not trying to prolong today's meeting. If we just have one or two of us listen to the call, if we just left the meeting open and participate, I thought it'd be better just to have it at least reflected in the minutes that that's being considered, so that's why I asked for that. So I'd make a motion on the agenda as it's presented, if that's okay.
Works for me. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Discuss, we got minutes. Any additions or subtractions to the February 4th minutes? I didn't see
I'll
any.
make a motion to accept those minutes.
Supported.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Just hop right down into department heads. We'll start with Norman.
Well, I'd say that we had a very busy motion day yesterday. Certainly still staying busy in both criminal court and juvenile court regarding volume. I would say hopefully this winter we won't need to ask for further budget appropriations regarding juvenile delinquents. We aren't nearly as busy on that front as last year. Last week we had a scuffle at juvenile court, and so I'd like to thank the sheriff's office. I don't know if he does that here, but I'd like to thank the sheriff's office for responding as promptly as they could. That little brouhaha. We won't be having magistrate court today. I believe the magistrate's down in Des Moines for training. So we'll take a catch up and do some other stuff because we've got some longer length writing projects we're currently working on as well. And this Thursday I'll be going over to the sheriff's office. We'll be doing a law update, kind of just what's new, what's changed, as well as maybe reiterate some topics on training that could be helpful for the deputies. So that's kind of what I'm up to right now.
We'll go around the room.
That's me, okay. Well, February, starting off, we're definitely got some tax collections in yesterday. So taxes are due March 1st, but need to be paid by March 31st with no penalty, so those are coming in the mail. Staying busy with renewals and now taxes.
It's been a busy start of the year. Got just inquiries coming in for all sorts of needs. We do have a project we got through CVN, which is what your dues for Northwest Iowa Development helped pay for, and so I submitted a couple buildings last week for a food ingredient production company that's looking for a second facility, so working through that, and, you know, looking out for any kind of lead like that. Growing Edge is at one of the buildings I submitted. You know, he is trying to sell that facility. He has had some company interest, but he doesn't have anything in writing yet, Brian Alsop, so, you know, that as well as Cap Farm, so I'm just doing what I can to work any lead. Community Foundation we had a great night in Harris a couple weeks ago. Now sort of the next step, other than the normal facilitating of bills coming in, is really trying to help promote charitable giving. Anyone who attended that night heard me give just a brief update that we had a previous Ashton resident leave some funds, so she opened up what we call a sub-fund. We call it Appreciate Ashton Fund. So she left some money to be specifically used for activities in Ashton, and we want to keep promoting that so people understand that the Community Foundation of Osceola County is a conduit for legacy giving. So we're having a board meeting next week to talk about doing an ad, sort of really building awareness for people that can just consider that as a path when they're looking at estate planning. Outside Point, we had a meeting last week. It's been a couple months, but we have a lot going on there. A grain bin shelter we're going to be looking to get up, which should be a great asset. Got a first marketing brochure. We've never done one. We looked at our first proof of that last week, so looking to get that out hopefully by spring. Career Day is set for April 30th in Sibley Cheatham. I am trying to work through some different outreach with all the school districts that we have students in. And I have a date for our business outreach seminar called Renewal Rural Iowa. It will be May 27th. NCC and our local Farm Bureau grants are all helping cover costs. So as soon as I have a marketing flyer for that, I'll pass that out. And I will be back or hang out to talk about the county website project. Looking forward to that.
Went to a honor flight fundraiser in Ashton last night, put on by the Legion, and it was the most people I've ever seen in that building. Very strong. Good deal. January was a good month, except quite a few of our Osceola County veterans are in Arizona, so I'll be making a business trip down there next week. But
Sorry.
check on them. Only right.
Don't know, maybe the supervisor's gonna go with you.
It's up to you guys. You're budgeted for that, I don't care.
Isn't this our vacation if he's in Arizona?
We've said worse things.
That's about it, guys. I will be gone, but Richard will be sitting in my office. That allocation put pays for his wages, so.
Winter, has been long and drawn out. Budget-wise, we are approaching the limits of our budget for, you know, plowing snow and all that sort of stuff, blades and salt, all of it. But it was nice to get a little bereavement there for a couple of weeks where we didn't have much happening, so we were able to get caught up on repairing all of our equipment, fixing up bridges and signs at bridges, you know, we've been building now a drag for the spring and also a disc retriever for next spring, so we can start, you know, hitting that heavy in the spring. Also, doing maintenance repair on our building in Sibley a little bit. We had some problems there with some, you know, siding rotting away. We might even start dragging some of the gravel roads. We see a warm-up coming up ahead, and it might become problematic, so we're kind of getting ready for that. Might go out there and try it, see what happens in a couple weeks. Yeah, we're in the depth, or in the heart of design for this bridge right outside of town. So right now we're submitting preliminary plans. We submitted all of our environmental, we received all our environmental clearance for that project, so we're pretty much have a green light. So that's going to probably progress very quickly now, our design for that project, bridge project. We have a lot of bridge repair next spring that I'm planning. And I met with the city of Sibley last night. I went to their meeting. to coordinate like our large, paving project that's happening in about 4 years. Reason why is we're gonna go and apply for funding, at Northwest Iowa Planning, and meet with all the other counties. And, the goal that we have here is we're having this big project that we already have programmed here in this part of the county, and to cooperate with them, combine with them, and present that as our case to those people there, because I think it'll sell well, and hopefully we'll get some good funding because of that. And so I met with them and went over that, and we coordinated on that effort, and that's a handout I gave you. I just wanted to show you what I presented to them. Yeah. Any questions?
Oh, daughter.
Tyler.
You could have skipped. Working on budgets, working on family farm, egg land, trying to get geared up for the election coming up in June. March is finally period deadline, so keeping busy with all that stuff.
Having grandbabies.
And have a grandbaby, had a new grandbaby over the weekend, so,
Yay.
yeah, I'm pretty proud. Yeah, pretty sweet.
Who dropped snacks today?
Jeff did.
Well, you help yourself to.
Yes, I would. Now that you told me that, I really should invite you.
Right? Enjoy your travels.
Yes.
Yeah, we will.
Hard life.
Where are you going in Arizona?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit confused there, but no, I called it right away. Good. Right after the meeting, I'm speaking, and Tyler, turn Mike to that. Thank you. See you later. No problem. Yeah.
Let's talk about the website.
Awesome, one of my favorite things. So I gave Rochelle a handout that showed currently what you guys are paying, currently what we're paying, and a bunch of costs to get a new site, put together. So what I had said to Rochelle a month or so ago was, what if we just added the county departments and county information to the existing economic development website, because a lot of the content that the county site has, we have. and things that I've spent a lot of time making sure was up to date, like giving the counties, the communities, designated pages with information, and I'm looking to put more information once we get like updated city council people, amenities in the county, businesses in the county. I worked hard to get that content up, and I thought, plus jobs, plus news, and I thought, well, I think it'd be easy if we could just build onto our site, and it'd certainly be a lot more affordable, at least on the development side, and I think it would be a great idea. I think it would be great to have one great county site. When I talked to Shelley from Turner Marketing, who we use, she said that's actually happening quite a bit, that's sort of more of a unified site. And she said actually that'll be really good for our search engine optimization to have, and we have really good traffic, and so what I'm proposing that as the way to go. You can see I did reach out to a lot of different companies in the area to get quotes. I mean, new sites. And things that I've spent a lot of time making sure was up to date, like giving the counties, the communities, designated pages with information, and I'm looking to put more information once we get like updated city council people, amenities in the county, businesses in the county. I worked hard to get that content up, and I thought, plus jobs, plus news, and I thought, well, I think it'd be easy if we could just build onto our site, and it'd certainly be a lot more affordable, at least on the development side, and I think it would be a great idea. I think it would be great to have one great county site. When I talked to Shelley from Turner Marketing, who we use, she said that's actually happening quite a bit, that's sort of more of a unified site, and she said actually that'll be really good for our search engine optimization to have, and we have really good traffic, and so what I'm proposing that as the way to go. You can see I did reach out to a lot of different companies in the area to get quotes. I mean, new sites are expensive. The lowest we're seeing for any new site is about $1,600 to $1,800, and those are, it's not your only cost. There's always going to be ongoing costs, but it's a pretty wide range. Some of these were a little insane when I got them, $3,000 to $4,000. What we pay for currently with Turner Marketing is $110 a month, and that includes any changes that we make. I mean, I'm emailing her all the time for if there's something I want her to tweak. So it includes support. We're basically subscription. It's a subscription to her product, which is called Community Integrator. That's similar with like Bonfire Marketing out of Spirit Lake. They have like an annual cost for their products. And I didn't even include some of the add-on stuff here. This is sort of the basic part. So you can see for Turner Marketing at the bottom of the chart, for I called it standalone. For your site, she would charge $350 for setup, and then $110 a month. But if we did it together, she's estimating $600 to $800 to sort of add things, and then the monthly charge, of course, that's something that we can talk about. That's what we're paying right now. And then it does include all the hosting, security, URL, all that.
Isn't it cheaper though to pay the upfront estimated cost and then just pay the $120 a year for hosting? Because otherwise you're $1,300 a year fixed cost every year for the website.
That is an option. I mean, a lot of sites you pay for a product. or you're paying for support every time something goes wrong. The last site I worked on in Kansas City cost us $9,000, and anytime something went wrong, we paid him to fix it, because things blow up, just like apps on your phone stop working. I mean, there's so many third-party products that go into a website. You know, you have had a good setup with Lucas, where I think he has not always charged for things, but I don't know how many changes or additions you've had to do over the years.
I was just looking at that Blue Lakes one, you know,
Yeah.
it's $1,800 to $2,000, and then $120 a year hosting. Well, if you look at Turner's, it's $350 setup plus $110 monthly, so
Right.
it's $1,320 a year regardless. And if you gotta pay for some fixes here and there, I gotta bet for $1,300 a year, I can probably get those done.
So what, I forgot her name is, from Blue Lakes, Anitra said, is their base cost estimate was $1,800 to $2,000, and then add-ons, and she's the one that brought up the ADA compliance, so that is an option, and then if you want certain other features, that's quoted upon request. Project completion is 3 to 4 months, and then once live, changes the content will be billed at current rate of $55 an hour in 15-minute increments. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a way you can do it if you do want your own. And yeah, you would have a lot more out of pocket at the beginning, plus hosting, plus any support for changes down that you would be paying for. So that's certainly an option. She's very keen, just so you know, if you did choose her, she's happy to hop on the phone. She's probably followed up more than anyone else. And I do think her product is great. If you look at O'Brien County's website, which is one that she does, it's outstanding. It looks really great. So I just wanted to present a lot of options to you. I'm happy to help for as much of it as you want me to. I have done a lot of these. I just suggested possibly doing it together, and then, you know, we could figure out if you guys wanted to help cover some of the ongoing costs, or, you know, hosting or whatnot. But I just thought a suggestion is have one all together, so you weren't having to recreate some of the information you already have.
Is OCDC tied into a contract to a certain period, for
No,
a certain period of time,
it's
or?
just, you know, obviously it just launched, actually, not even a year ago. It was January 21st last year. I think I've said, I mean, if I had to do it, I'm not sure I would have gone that way, but right now, we would then be paying extra for a whole new site. And, you know, she has been extremely responsive, and I've kind of hammered her with a lot of stuff in the last year, because I have worked, just done this a lot.
So the Turner Marketing combined one is the only one that has really considered putting both of them together
Yes.
ongoing.
Yeah. So I would imagine, because a lot of times the quotes for a new site are all based on pages. So, you know, that's where the cost from Turner to add on isn't substantial, and I think it could even be lower, because I can add sections to the website. It's really just a few things like, you know, we want to get your YouTube channel embedded, because you don't really need to be posting every single supervisor meeting. It's your YouTube channel. The newest one should be visible. You know, we want to embed the beacon so that that's easily accessed on the site. But a lot of the content I should be able to help.
So who monitors the county site currently, or if something comes up or something needs to be changed,
Our
how
office,
does that
Sheila.
come to Sheila's attention?
She asks when everybody wants anything added or whatever, she does it. It's getting harder and harder on Lou's website to do it though, but it needs to be updated.
I'm just saying, we probably don't have someone dedicated or regularly kind of monitoring it, whereas if we combine with OCDC, it sounds like Steph would be
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
in
I
it more
could,
often and know if
Yeah.
something's coming up, rather than waiting to hear people saying, well, that's not working, and they're choosing to
I
use
sit
the
on the
site
staff.
because it didn't work the way they wanted.
yeah.
But,
But I know, it's a little bit of a, you know, is it better to pay a lot now and not a lot ongoing? But, you know, because we already are paying you know, I still feel like that is still a good option, but, it seems like anymore, I mean, there's so many ongoing fees, it's rare to just pay hosting going forward. There just seems to be a lot of these companies that have their own kind of products, but like I said, there's a lot of options, so this is just a lot more just to sort of see the range of quotes that are out there, all from local companies.
So you didn't get any combined sites for the rest of these?
I didn't talk to them about it because it would be a brand new site for both of us, which I think is gonna be extremely more expensive. You know, like I said, it's based on pages. We have a lot of pages on our site, because what they normally quote on is building each of those pages, text, you know, pictures, so that's usually how most of the quotes work, is based on a navigation of how many pages you have. I could certainly reach out to Blue Lakes and say, look, what would it cost to do both of ours? I guess for me, because I have spent so much time building up our site in a year, I wouldn't really be excited to have to go and do a new one. You know, it's just not.
They do Dickinson's too.
Blue Lakes? Oh, I can't remember.
It's either Dickinson or Lion, they do.
Shelley has Lion, or at least Lyon County EDC, I'm not sure about
Shelley
Lion.
is Turner.
Shelley is Turner Marketing,
I think
sorry.
Igold does county, Lane County,
Does Lyon.
I think so. He did anyway, but that
Blue
changed.
Lakes, I like O'Brien's.
Yeah, I mean, theirs is a great site.
Yeah. That is a plus. And I understand what you're saying, Ed, the lower annual cost, but if we're gonna run two sites amongst county involved entities, that cost doesn't go away, so we team up with close to EDC. What if we were to do the combined site approach
Yep.
and offer close to EDC $120 a year to match the hosting of Blue Lakes? I'm not trying to undercut them, but they were committed to the full cost, whether they get anything or not. I'm not saying I wouldn't consider going.
Yeah, and I mean,
half or
for me,
something,
I
but-
would speak for my board, that I think it's a service I am more than happy to offer the county to help on the website as much as possible. I mean, I'm quick and easy, it's quick and easy for me. I really have done this for 20 years, so, you know, I just thought it could be some savings, plus the fact I just think it'd be nice to have one unified website.
But I would be interested as well to see if Blue Lakes would offer a pricing for doing both, even though you don't really like that idea.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I was happy to reach out to her and ask her, look, you know, what could it cost? Because I just know from all the sites out there, yeah, I mean, hers is great. I mean, ours is not as good as I would like it to be, so that's where, even though I'm not looking to do a new site, I'm not 100% happy with ours. It's not quite as dynamic as I would like it to be.
And it wasn't
So,
what you
it
selected.
would not have been what I
so-
selected, no. So, okay. Well, I can check with Amitra, but I just wanted to give you some options and just kind of see what you were most excited about.
I'd like to have the easy use that O'Brien has, because I've spent a lot of time on that site, down there a lot, but it's really easy to get to everything you need to get to.
Yeah, and visually,
Other than
so,
home system.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so I'll check on that, and then just let Rochelle know, we'll go from there.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Nope, it's all good.
So that brings us to the finalized proposed fiscal year 2021 budget. That proposed property tax and public hearing date.
I gave you a final sheet of the, any fund balance. You have that, and then you should also have the, what the expenses were for the last 3 years. Our expenses are down from this current year, next, we're projecting out under almost $3 million, $3.8 million, but a lot of the secondary roads down, expenses are down $921,000. We're gonna pay for Tyler Avenue this year, so next year we shouldn't have any expenses for Tyler Avenue, that was over $2 million. And we're paying off the ethanol plant, so that's why we were down that much in expenses. And then we need to, when we set this public hearing, we need to explain why we kept our, why we're increasing over 2%. And an explanation on that for the future.
You got the explanation.
No, I was waiting for you guys' guidance. Because the levy stayed the same, is basically the valuation, you know, it's gonna set, unmanded for conservatorship, for juvenile and adult. Because we found out yesterday that, someone went to court for conservatorship, and it's gonna cost us $1,500 on it. So at 5,000, we have many of them at 5,000 single pay.
So then how are we explaining this?
I don't know what you guys want me to do. Besides the unfunded mandate, what else do you want me to add to it? I mean, our expenses went down, but.
Can you put that in?
I can, well, I don't know. I can make a note that the levy stayed the same as current fiscal year, we could, you know, but for public safety went down and mental health went up a little bit.
So,
Yeah, that's not included in that, it's just general basic, general supplemental, and rural services. That's that we have to put in the paper, not put in the advertisement, I just have to paper this week.
What does the notice have to say?
It just, any, it says, explanation of significant increases in the budget, explaining explanation required if proposed proceeding changes greater than 2%. And ours is 2.38%.
How do we get rid of that 0.38?
238 by reducing the budget. Reduce the levies, yeah. I don't think it has to be a long explanation. Besides this mandates, I'm not for sure what else, so. In there.
I see that, whatever it says we're supposed to say then.
Oh, yeah.
Now the,
Publication is that, down below there. Here's this one, the 2.38. Other counties really haven't shared what they're putting in for an explanation, either usually. They should, and they
does
haven't.
anybody have published one yet?
Not yet.
Is anybody else over that 2%?
Oh, yeah, almost everybody is, either one or the other. Either in real basic or general. don't think I've seen anyone that's under the 2%.
I don't think it would hurt to reduce the levies and avoid it this year. And what is essential is those windmill valuations could drop significantly next year. We're gonna have to increase levy rates at that point.
Jason, can you explain that to me, man? How does that, with that windmill deal? Because they, remodeled or whatever you wanna call it, we have no way of collecting any of that, that's just a, what do they call that?
I talked to Sharon, the last email she sent out from the Department of Revenue that I'd seen was that if she considers the work that they did on the windmills to be substantial improvement, she provides a new valuation to the tower, and then it's gotta do that phase-in that the code approves, that either you collect nothing. That's my understanding of it. I've had confirmation of it at times, but I've never been absolutely assured that it's correct. But the code says that windmills, wind energy or whatever equipment doesn't get taxed anything for 5 years. And then the 6th year it goes on at 30% of their value. If you do a resolution locally, which we did previously, which I don't know if we have to reinstitute again or if that stands going forward, but then you don't get any valuation year 1, you get 5% year 2, 10% year 3, work your way up to 30%.
So we start at the clock over basically.
So if she determines that what was done recently is substantial improvement and they get new valuations, the letter from the Department of Revenue was that it would start that phase-in over, that we would lose all those valuations for the first year, and then it'd start phasing in. That's a significant, well, I shouldn't say all, I keep saying all, that's not fair. She says there's still gonna be a significant, or a portion of them that doesn't come off the rolls. Your concrete base in the ground, a portion of the tower is gonna be the same, so that valuation won't have changed, so, but she said,
It would be
last
completely
meeting,
less.
yeah, it wouldn't be 100%, I keep thinking that in my head, but a large portion of their overall value would be starting back over, so yeah, I think there's gonna be a significant hit to the overall valuations. But then the last time she said that other counties are saying they're not gonna bother doing that, so she may not take that approach either, I don't know. It's not like till the end of March, it may not really be decided or known for sure, which is kind of hard to make a decision on this now, but.
That's how I understood it, and I wasn't sure I was right on that, so.
I'd recommend they include, we're considering a new ambulance purchase, that's a significant increase, continued funding to do courthouse improvements would contribute to the.
I think it's some good news on the courthouse, the clerk's office. Granny went to Ocheen and they had the tile, so cost of $40 in the bin.
Oh.
So. We'll get there.
They had the time for that.
So our options are to reduce your levy and come up with a nice explanation.
Well, if we did ambulance purchase, courthouse repairs, and that unfunded mandate. That's pretty good.
That's good enough, isn't it?
I would think so.
We don't do this resolution until after the first hearing,
That,
right?
yeah, and we can't set the next public hearing until we have this first public hearing and approve that resolution.
Only have to approve the resolution if it's over 2%.
Yes, well, I think you still have to approve it, but 2/3 of it has to be approved by the board, 2/3 of the board members have to approve that resolution in order for us to go on.
New rules.
Yep. The city's got all the things in every county.
We gonna stick with these numbers, or does somebody wanna change them? I'd like a motion to stick with these numbers, go ahead and set the date for the public hearing, but if somebody's got a different budget number in mind. So is that a motion?
Yeah, that's all.
Support. All those in favor of the finalized budget numbers?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
So proposed property tax levy date public hearing. Did you have a date in mind?
It has to be March 3rd. You have to meet that day in order to make this all work. Circulation of the paper on the 19th, and our 10 and 20 is March 3rd. And then we can hold our regular public hearing on the 24th. Or you can meet on the 31st, whatever you want.
So at that proposed tax levy public hearing, you can still reduce the levies?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, 2/3 of you guys have to approve that resolution.
Need a motion for the first,
March 3rd?
Yeah.
third?
At 9 o'clock, does that work? There's nothing on the agenda, so, or do you want it earlier, or? 9 o'clock?
I'd take a second.
Council President?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are we gonna be into that for more than $1,500 for that conservatorship? Or is that just the beginning
That's why
number?
I think the limit is 1,500, so,
That's the limit
yeah,
that you can spend on that?
yes, per case,
Per case.
that's what Nolan said, I haven't talked to him yet.
So there's a per case limit? So when you're figuring your budget, you figure how many conservatorships do we do a year, figure it out for, I don't know, 2 or 3?
Yeah, maybe, it just depends on the year, just. Or you might have to,
Is that a juvenile situation that we're
Yeah.
talking about? Mental Health Region just approved funding for one, and it happens to be in our county, for a mental health situation, and approval of conservatorship regarding, they said that they've not seen one. The DSC, it's happened before, but it generally gets covered somewhere, if there's another steps up or someone else, but that doesn't mean that we might not be seeing a trend that it's moving more towards that, but yeah, I made the argument that, well, we hadn't had it before, we hadn't budgeted for it, we're preparing for that going forward, so they are covering this one, and then the expectation is that each county will cover those that arise in their counties going forward, as the other counties are budgeting for that as well.
That makes sense.
So juvenile and mental health situation regarding that.
tax that comes from the state of Iowa, and we're just like a flow through, but yeah,
Just a
that's.
pass-through for the funding,
Yeah, we're just a pass through.
we'll get escalation done for that.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we don't do the claims or anything, home health does it all, we have to come to the county.
So they basically paid you for October, November, December, all in one bill, city match.
Yeah. State,
But if we need to recertify our budget, they'll give us.
Yeah. Yeah, sure they will.
Sheriff Benton trapped a beaver, huh?
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, none of them in the drainage ditch so far.
Your courthouse, what's the credit card reimbursement for the secondary roads?
So, our credit card bill automatically comes out of our account, so secondary roads had a credit on there, so we had, instead of paying the credit card bill, reduced it by their secondary roads credits, and then we had to pay them back. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I wish they would just give us secondary roads, so I have a credit next month, it doesn't work that way.
Would we put a battery in?
I'm sorry. Stuck in the, go to the mental health meeting last weekend, our last one. Well, no, they come jump in, now I really want to be stuck in from guard.
Yeah.
Just like mine, and then Sandy was there, ended up taking the old van, used to be in the sheriff's office, she said that works. Then, yeah, we want to approve the claims.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Disapproved. So 9:30, are they calling in, or are you?
Yeah,
We
call-
call
we have
that,
to call
yeah,
that.
you wanna just recess until 9:30 with adjournment?
It's 9:30 right now.
Oh.
The only thing else is you guys decide about these windows, it's our architect. That's what you wanna do.
So we're not doing anything with the trim around the windows here, it's just gonna stay wherever.
Yeah.
Interior or exterior?
Interior, I thought, but.
Trim on the exterior?
This
Yeah,
probably
there's
flash or
some
something,
Yeah.
flash or trim or something on the outside.
I would say that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
At
I
one
know.
point, they talked about it going back.
Or they can see it from the other side, but they can get in.
Black. That's the one we're talking about, black
Oh, maybe.
trim, like cross pieces, and I
Yeah.
think that might be what it's referring to, I'm not sure.
So if that's the case, that's a black and white picture, you couldn't tell what brown. Bronze or black or white?
Want cheaper than that?
I don't think so.
He said black.
And the three circles in the attic.
They said that, they're like on that side, we said not to replace them, because that would cause, yeah, that would cause black to replace the windows.
Yeah. Just get some stained glass made.
Is there anything
I think there's windows in there, you just replace them, because it would cost a small fortune to do that, so.
So what about this window over here in the assessor's vault?
Yeah, it's kind of boarded up, and they have stuff stored in there,
Yeah, it's
so.
boarded up from the inside, but it's
Yeah.
not on the outside.
No, so we would have, so either, if we took it out, you know, replace that window, then they would have to take that closet out, but there's not much in there.
There's not much in there.
And then the drop ceiling in the attorney's office, there's different options, you can go back to the original, but it needs some work,
What's it look like up underneath there?
it needs new wiring, I think, and lights. But Ernie thought that you could maybe make an indent where the windows are, so that it, so that it wouldn't, so you could still get the full light in without redoing the whole ceiling.
So you just do the part of the ceiling.
Yeah, just where the windows are, he said that would be an option you could do, instead of replacing it all, or.
So just taper it
But it
away
was
from the
evidently a false ceiling in it?
Yeah.
How much in between is there, do you know?
Oh.
3 feet?
I bet so.
At least,
Yeah, because they're the height of this originally, and then they're lowered.
does it look any worse than your wall?
I don't think so.
Slap some paint on it. Go like
It just, I
that.
think the lighting, I'm not for sure why they did false ceiling the lights, I think needs to be redone or rewired or.
The wiring's already there for whatever lighting is in there,
Right.
so it'd just be a matter of moving it up.
Yeah, we would need to have a look.
And I would hope that they don't have this bunch of loose wire hanging out.
I would hope not
underneath the
either.
ceiling, but it probably conduit, I would hope, like it is in here.
And then, the bathroom windows, he said not to replace those, because they're not, there's no lights, there's no windows in the bathroom anyway, they're covered up. So he thought we could brick them in and that we could get brick to match what's currently down there. And then the lower, and then there's one ceiling, I think, in Craig's office, that the window is bad, but Ernie has a wood frame around it, because the tile is bad around it, so we would have to, if we wanted to replace that window, we would have to fix the rock around it first. So, can I send that to replace it at this time unless the board wants to?
And that door for the engineer's office,
Just so it match, I don't know if it's necessary.
it works, right, it's functional, it's
Yeah,
not leaking.
No, it just wouldn't, if you wanted to match the rest of it, then you could do it. Ernie didn't think that was really necessary at this point, but
I'd wait till it doesn't work anymore.
at least to see what it would look like, so.
Nobody looks at that door. Now, if it was colored with orange or something.
So do you want dark brown, or do you want black?
I have to see them,
Okay. Let's see if we can get samples.
see if we can send them some color swatches, and see if that's for the outside.
That's what he said, that I think.
So then what do you do with that window by Craig's office?
I don't know if there's anything we can do until we replace the stone around it. First, we would find something to match it, and,
Well, they pointed all that out, did they go around
well,
the
I thought they
windows?
did, but, I didn't know that was an issue, so let's keep
Because when they pointed all that, that would have been something that I would have thought would have been pointed out as being an issue, because you would have been able to get grout to seal that back up.
Right. Okay, well, I'll get samples on that and see. Do you think bricking in we don't need those bathroom windows, since we don't use them, no use putting them in, right? That's the consensus, so that we don't have them now, so.
Are they there?
Well, on the outside, and not on the inside.
Well, yeah, then go ahead and brick them up then.
So, that makes sense, but the window in, you can't see it.
Is it just covered over with sheet rock or something?
Yeah, and then we got tile in the bottom half is tile, and that's the ladies' bathroom.
This bathroom is in a janitor closet, actually.
Yeah. Well, I'll get some samples of that, and then we can move forward, we're trying to get a quote going, so we can get these windows done, or started anyway. Okay. And is his numbers, and we'll just call him.
Call him.
Yep, we'll call him. He's free, for what we're talking about.
So did you already stick her on, or is that why he was
I have no idea. Kathy Brewer.
Morning, Ryan. Osceola County calling in.
Yeah, very good. How are you guys this morning?
Good. We're good. All right. You?
I'm good. Just, busy working on county renewal presentations, so. That's
We're not the only
January
one.
17th. No, it's, year 1 of 24. And a new county just came in actually on Monday to the association. We're working on that. We have a couple other 3 or 4 counties that are looking to join as well. So we've been extremely busy since we got the news that we were gonna take over as a consultant on January 17th for the ISAC program. So busy, but I have everything for your group pulled up, so I'll just if you wanna kinda drive the conversation, Jason, and just give me direction, and I'll be happy to comment and give input wherever you see needed.
Okay. The one question I have is, looking over what you have, obviously we do offer Plan 9, but I think that's primarily utilized by, people still taking health insurance that are retired, or?
No, we still have.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Yep.
We still are offering Plan 9, but our 11E is currently funding down to Plan 8 type benefits.
Yep, and Plan 9 for just a select few, I believe that was a union group still that had negotiated a different benefit design.
We have a few that are on 5, 7, 7, 50.
Okay.
They're on 11E, but we dropped down to 7, 15, so.
But primarily, most are on, buying down to the Plan 8 benefit, which was the $500 deductible, $1,000 out of pocket max.
Okay.
And really, for this illustration, I based it all off of that, because it just made it so much easier to compare, our current plan designs with that high deductible health plans.
Okay.
So if you look, obviously there's a current renewal spreadsheet. You guys got a phenomenal renewal. You actually got a negative. And remembering back to when we first started to work with you guys moved off Plan 8, 9 to 11E. I assume you've built a pretty significant reserve at this point. I'm not sure what that is, but based on last year's renewal, which I know is negative, and then this year's, if you're still using those old premiums for what Plan 8 and 9 would have been and what are now today, do you guys know where that is approximately as far as just overall reserve?
I wanna say 300 some thousand, let me go check one, hold on.
Did you hear our auditor there?
Yeah, I did, I heard 300.
She's gonna go check, she thought that was the rough
Okay.
amount.
And then also, if we could see what premiums we're using, if we're using the Plan 8, 9 premiums from 2 years ago, or if we kept up with the increases.
We approved to keep the premiums the same as what they had been prior to last year's reduction.
Okay.
From ISAC.
And, I'll just note though, that you have what those premiums, because I don't have the old information, I just have, obviously, the current year in renewal.
You would need to know already. Could use the.
I'll note down I just wanna know what you're funding the health plan to for a single and family premium.
Okay, the balance in that fund is $448,000 the end of January.
You said 448?
Yeah, the end of January. I know we have some expenses this time, so it's a little less. Single, for, plan, we paid $975 per employee.
Okay.
And then family is 608, $1,219 for family is what we pay.
Or the total between what the employee and employer are funding the plan to, that's what I wanted to note down, just how much was going in as a total.
We're putting in $99,136 a month into that fund. That's employer share.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking? Might not.
That will work. I just wanted to note down what the total single and family premiums you're putting in for Plan 8 and 9.
Well, yeah, it's $975 is what the county's paying for single.
Yep.
And
And then the total family contribution between the county and the employee.
The county doing 608.50, and
Yeah.
the employees doing 608.50
Yeah.
towards the family portion.
Yeah, because your funding, your overall funding, if you're putting in just under 100,000, you know, just under 1.2 million, and your annual spend to renew is 875, so we know your reserve's gonna grow by at least another, you have some partial self-funding expenses, but it's gonna grow at least 250,000 a year based on your renewal. So what I did on the second page, I showed the renewal, and then I showed the two high deductible health plan options, 12C and 12D. You can see 12C is the richest high deductible health plan with HSAs at $2,800 for a single deductible and out of pocket, and it's $5,400 for family. The IRS raised the lowest deductible level to have an embedded high deductible health plan from $2,700 to $2,800 this year. That's why we had to increase that. We left the family where it was at $54. And then option 2 is Plan 12D, is the higher deductible option with HSAs at $3,500 and $7,000. So again, under this scenario, there's no copays for medical or pharmacy. You get the discounted allowed amount should you have a claim that's in network, which on the national network it's difficult to not find a provider that would be in. And you just pay the allowed amount up until you've met the $2,800 for a single, or $3,500 for a single on that higher deductible option, Plan 2. So if you go down to the bottom, you'll see the premiums actually are very comparable to what you're spending today for Plan 11E. It's actually more expensive to buy the option 1, which is Plan 12C, the $2,800 deductible. You could actually have an increase of roughly $79,000. And then I show directly beneath that employer HSA contribution. So the $169,000 would then, that's assuming the employer would put in $1,800 for a single, which would then get them back to their $1,000 annual exposure. I think that's what you guys were looking for. And then I took the family counts times 3,400 in an annual contribution, which then gets the employee's out-of-pocket risk down to $2,000, which is what it currently is for that Plan 8. So then you'll see directly beneath that will be the employer HRA contributions. Under this scenario, there is not an HRA since you make the HSA contributions. So that would be 0. That totals $1,044,000 or $164,000 increase over what you're doing today with the high deductible copay plan and then the partial self-funding with secure benefits. You'll see if your funding, if you just kept your funding the same, we know you're funding just under 1.2 million, so your reserve is still gonna grow 150,000 if you put everybody onto this plan. And then let employees, you know, have some more transparency to their health plan and then control over their spending, where the county is just giving them HSA contributions every year. It's gonna cost the county more money to do that, I think, and that's what I wanted to show in this illustration was, what's our total expense today, and that's roughly $875. Under this scenario, you're gonna spend, you know, just under $1,050,000. And then the option next to that which is the higher deductible, HSA option. The premium's gonna be less, because you're buying a higher deductible, but your HSA contributions are gonna be more, since you have to fund it back down to the 1,000 and 2,000. But from a total spend perspective, you can see it's very close to that other HSA option. Just lay it out, Jason, in kind of a format that you wanted to see. I wanted you to go to compare what you have to these other two options, and then look at the total cost for the county annually.
Yeah, a couple questions. The premiums, you're just showing the individual plan premium, and then the family premium would be on top of the individual one, right? That's the cost?
No, that's the total. The premiums listed are what you get billed from the association, so that's the total.
So if we're paying the $835, just going off Plan 9, the first column, if we're paying the employees $835 and half of the family, we would take the $835 off of that $1,879 and figure half of that.
Yeah, as your county's expense, try to get back into what the county, this is the total, that's the only way we can show this, is the total, but that's how you back into your county cost. Yep.
Is it a problem if we were to offer one of the HSA options just as an option, as an additional plan available to our employees?
No, we have groups that do that, that's absolutely fine.
That'd be my hopes or thoughts, and is it possible to offer that as of July 1 of this year, with the new fiscal year?
Yep, you can do that, absolutely.
I'll let you into a little bit of my mindset and line of thinking, a longer range plan. I would like to make that available to our county employees at their choice completely.
Yep.
But I'm hoping that it can create a little traction, that some people are utilizing it and finding it beneficial. I would like to then make that same offering in a union negotiation approach. And my hope would be to offer the 50% family participation on that plan to get a foot in the door towards making the same benefit available to all our employees. It's long been my approach, but.
I mean, based on where you're funding your premiums today, either option is still gonna save, that overall reserve, if you kept those premiums the same, it's still gonna grow, knowing that we're funding almost $100,000 a month. So you could just, you wouldn't have that exposure in the buy down, because there wouldn't be a partial self-funding anymore for anyone that took the HSA plan or the high deductible health plan. You would just give the HSA contributions every year to the employees, and then they, a lot of the times, 80% of your overall membership doesn't have any claims, so then they get to keep those HSA contributions in their account, and then it rolls over every year, and they're 100% vested. They can use that, whether it's this year or 10 years down the road, for any out-of-pocket medical expenses. Also covers out-of-pocket dental and vision.
What are the
great ways to use it.
What are the current contribution maximums for HSA plans?
It's essentially 3,500 and 7,000. It's actually slightly higher, but you can do 3,500 for a single and 7,000 for a family, and that is a combination of what the employer and employee puts in. So
is that only
if the county put in?
Sorry. If we were to go with Plan 12C that has the 2,800, 5,400, is that then the max?
Yep. Nope. You can actually put in more than what your out-of-pocket maximum is. That's another great benefit of HSAs. They keep raising those limits every year too. And there was actually talk last year of just getting rid of the limit altogether, where you can just put as much as you want into an HSA. So the government wants to incentivize consumer-driven healthcare as much as they can with more transparency. Yep, so you could, if the county put in $1,800, then, the employee could put in another $1,600 or $1,700 for their own election each year. And if, at time of retirement, you can use it for certain Medicare expenses, but you can always use them for unreimbursed medical expenses while working and after working and retired.
So the prescription So then, let's say if we're, right now, if it's, the prescription's like $500, but our copay is $10, we would have to pay the $500, correct?
That's correct, yep. Yep, and that 500 would then accumulate towards the $2,800 deductible. Yeah, so that's where it does create a, cash flow issue sometimes for members, is that they're on a high-cost drug, and 500 isn't even really expensive anymore. We see a lot of $4,000 to $5,000 prescriptions go through the health plan, so they would essentially have to pay all $2,800 at the point of sale when they pick up that first prescription in that scenario. That's the only drawback, to that higher deductible health plan, HSA, is if you have a large claim right away in the plan here, without having any HSA dollars accumulated.
What would your recommendation be, or what do you see as a common, participation level by the employer? I guess early on, I would like to fund it down to the same exposure level. Now, there's gonna be many situations where they've retained good portion of that, those HSA dollars, so future years, I don't know that we need to continue to fund.
Sure,
those
yeah,
exposures the same. Is there a way to step in or create a program that it scales down to a certain amount after so many years?
Yep, that's a good question. You have total control over that. We have other counties within the ISAC portfolio that do this, where they offer Plan 11E, and then they offer an HSA dual option plan. They've done a similar strategy where they fund it down essentially to their out-of-pocket max on their 11E plan today, so exactly what you're thinking. Those counties have kept that contribution the same. They've never backed off of it, but you certainly could as dollars start to accumulate for those employees. I think with that strong of a contribution, I'd be surprised if you didn't see 40 to 50% of your employees migrate over to that plan design, especially the ones that really don't use their health plan today. There's quite a few members on your specific county plan that would fall into that scenario.
Now, if we were to consider this, and I certainly would be in favor of, at least for the first few years, funding so that the out-of-pocket exposure is the same.
Yep.
Can we also consider instituting a participation towards, individuals that stay in the HRA approach, the 11E, contributing towards their flex?
Yeah, you can do that as well. Yep. Employers can make a flex contribution if that's something you'd like to do. That would even further reduce what they're paying today at $1,000 for out-of-pocket max. Essentially, you could use the flex for other than just medical expenses, but if you wanted to make an additional flex contributions to make the cost comparison similar between the overall spend for both options, you could do that.
I know we still have that exposure, but we've also seen a couple of years of reduced premiums that we've not passed along to the employees, so I guess I would like to consider some sort of participation in the HRA or their flex accounts.
Yeah, and you guys are sitting on, just in a couple of years, you've built a $450,000 reserve, so.
A couple bad years can hit that pretty quickly too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but at least if you kept your premiums up where they are today, it's gonna take a little while to catch back up to that number, because we know that you're overfunding your health plan, by quite a bit, really, which is a good problem to have. That's a really good position to be in. I just met with a community college on Monday, and they're in the opposite position. They're looking at a 30 to 40% increase to try to get back to just break even. So, staying out ahead of it is certainly where you want to be, which is where you guys are. Any other questions on the illustration and just the comparison? I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the rate adjustment key that looks at the last 3 years. If you you guys have that up, I could just quickly go through that for you and answer any questions on that page, but it'll just show you how we got to your renewal rate. Just let me know when you guys have that up and I'll talk through this.
There's my last one.
Yeah, that's the last one, tax rate adjustment, utilization fee, there's a single page.
Okay, I think we got it.
Do you guys see it? Okay. So at the very top, you're gonna look at FY upper left-hand corner, the last 3 years of experience that we look at, and this is FY 17, so the plan year that ended in 17, 18, and 19. Collected premiums were what the association actually collected in medical premiums from the county. Total expenses, this is gonna be all of your fixed costs, so your medical administration, the stop loss that the association buys on your behalf, and then all the claims below the deductible level that the association buys, with an overall use rate. You will see that for next year's renewal, your FY 17, 110% loss ratio will fall off and it'll be replaced by the FY 20. Be surprised if it was worse than 110, but you will see if you have another good year, that's going to then put you into potentially the level 3 discount on the right-hand side, which would be an additional 5% discount off the base rate. So there's no guarantee there, but you are trending in the right direction over the last 2 fiscal years. And then down below that, we just look at the claims above the stop loss that the association buys for each county. Listed under the premiums are the actual portion of the collected premium that went just for those large claims to pool that risk. And the stop loss credits were the amounts for your members that the association paid above the deductible level that they buy. And for 17 and 18, that was $100,000. For FY 19, it was $150,000. So the 3-year average shows 125%, which puts you at the base rate, and that's where you were last year as well. And then at the bottom, we look at all of the different adjustments. So we start at the left-hand side of the ISAC base rate. You got the 10% experience the last 2 years, that discount. The large claim, you were at the base rate. You did a great job on the wellness both years, meeting the max 5% discount. This year you will see there was a one-time 6% dividend, essentially put back into all of the participating members because of really great growth in the overall reserve that ISAC holds on behalf of all of the counties. They gave, I think that 6% equates to about $2.5 million they gave back into the association for this renewal. So that brought you on the right-hand side from 85% of the base rate down to 79. So the actual increase was about 6%, and then you guys saved all of that with that adjustment in the base rate calculation. That's why your renewal was a negative 0.5%. That's how we got to your numbers from current to renewal. Any questions on that utilization fee?
Now the only thing would be the discount ratio. Back to the first sheets, we were looking at our premiums cost. That reflects the discount ratio?
It does, exactly, yep. So the current rates use the 85% of base rate, the renewal rates use 79% of base rate. So the overall base rates went up 6% from one year to the next, but then you guys got that additional 6% discount because of all of the adjustments shown here on that utilization key. Well, feel free to reach out to me with any other questions, but I fully support high deductible health plans and HSAs. I believe they are a good thing. I think with that type of contribution from the county, you would see, I would think, substantial participation in that plan if you did offer it.
Does that sound reasonable to you, gentlemen, if I proceed to work with group benefit partners a little further, and maybe bring a recommendation, act on in the future? That HRA contribution, the flex contribution seemed to be something you could support as well.
Yeah.
I think it's an offset to where the HSA people will get to retain the dollars they don't spend. Participating with our current employees in a flex program is helping benefit them in a way similar to the HSA fund that could benefit the other employees, so I thought it was reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Thanks for taking the time to dig into this.
Alright. So you'll be hearing more from me, Ryan, sorry.
Sounds great. Well, I'm actually gonna be up there in March then too, Jason, so
Yeah.
maybe this is all, we can have continued conversation, and then we can take some action when we're up to March at the actual supervisor meeting, so.
Okay, if a decision were to be made at that point, it could still be implemented for July 1 easy enough?
Oh, yeah, there's
Okay.
plenty of time, absolutely.
Okay, I just didn't wanna get behind the 8 ball, so. Alright, that sounds
No,
good.
you're in good shape. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
All right, you bet.
Thanks for the time you've been putting into that, Jason.
I think it can be a win-win, I think we've made some good steps, and I think allowing the employees to retain in a savings account that's at their discretion is nice, and it maybe does show a little bit additional expense to us, but it's not dollars we haven't already been using, we're just setting it aside for our potential exposure in the higher deductible that we have, so we're not increasing our expenditures, but we are putting it somewhere else that we don't have to stay over there. I guess would be a good. Alright.
Hey, quick question for you, Aaron, while you're up here. Do we have rumble strips at all of our intersections?
Most of them. Only one I can't think of, offhand is 822 when you're leaving the county, and it turns to gravel there. So way over on the east side, there's no rumble strips there.
There's not a stop sign there.
You're right too. Maybe there is though, I think there, I
No,
can't remember.
That means I don't think there's a stop sign.
I mean, there is only like 3 Vietnams, so there's not that many vehicles a day there, but I mean, it's, that was one place I noticed there was no, I thought there was a stop sign, but I could be wrong. There is other ones that could probably be reworked, this year that are starting to wear out, 'cause they do wear out. But I can't think of any offhand. Do you know of something in particular?
Well, no, I see they got a bill going through right now to require all the counties to put rumble
Oh,
strips on.
I
every
noticed that
intersection.
too. That's a really good point. And I'm sure like some counties will, be in opposition to that, to be honest. We kind of do it anyway. And we got this little baby mill, and we retrofitted it so we can go do it ourselves. So we don't have to go and spend thousands of dollars to hire somebody to do it all the time. So that's what we did too. We kind of took control of that situation so we can manage it cost effectively. Because I like those type of safety features, and I can see the benefits, so I've invested into that, So it's really not an issue for us, because we've kind of.
Almost every stop sign I've been to in the county has them.
Absolutely. We've switched
We
over
have
to
that
newer
42%
design.
resolution.
Yeah.
We're budgeting to have offset costs of making sure they're rumble.
No, one thing that I've been promoting and progressing on is specifically rumble strips and keeping those maintained, as well as improving some of the signage at paved road type intersections. And those are some of the key areas.
Well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. Thank you for this helping thing too. I thought that was, that's really good. Very supportive of it.
Okay, quick question for you, Jason. With the mental health stuff, have you guys had any discussions on that non-contiguous mental health region thing?
We've not really weighed in on that. Part of why I changed my tune on the counties to the east was because Emmett was content to make the fight with the state to include that non-contiguous language. I mean, they weren't kicking and screaming that we were giving this consideration. So I support it because they want to stay with CSS, and
I see they got a bill going through for that, for non-contiguous mental health region.
it sounds like it's likely, or as likely as anything ever is, to probably get through,
And have you heard anything else on the, I see there's another Senate study going through 3128, to cede local control of windmill ordinances to the utilities board. And I haven't seen that ISAC's registered either for or against or lobbying it whatsoever, so I wasn't sure.
I talked to Lucas or, Jamie, I only mentioned, I can't remember exactly what they said about it, but, I don't believe they were in favor of it, they're not registered, you say?
No, they're not even registered as lobbyists on that item. But I do see that all the wind companies are against it, so I don't know if that means we should be for it. Any committee reports? Any of the courthouse issues?
Well, the only thing Ernie's gonna be on vacation the first week in March, so he has Steven Stoll doing the sheriff's office and the parking lot, but he doesn't have him doing the sidewalks and driveway.
Okay.
Do you want him to do it, or try to find somebody else to do it, or?
Make secondary roads too.
Mike will be back by then, right?
Yeah.
You can ask him.
He's not here, so.
Get volunteer and do the tractor.
We're talking, having Steve do the rest of it too?
Yeah, I didn't know what you wanted. Do you want him to do all of it, or just, hopefully it won't snow, but if it does, we have to be prepared. Or if someone else wants to run the tractor, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, he's already here, you just as well have him do the rest of it.
Do the sidewalks and everything. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to get everybody's opinion. Because I wasn't know that. I said, hopefully it'll be snow.
Hope you're right.
Yeah, hope we're done.
Then with economic development. Take a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Take a second. All those in favor of adjournment?